Hello, everyone. I welcome you all for this another wonderful session. Role of educational institutions in improving mental health of the students. As we know, this is a program, this is the session, an online session being organized by Igniting Dreams of Young Minds Foundation, IDYM. And IDYM has been working in all the 195 countries of the world, works with the motto of spreading space and satellite education for all the students across the world. Until now, it has provided training, free of cost training, for more than 1.5 lakh students across nearly 60 countries. And yes, it is a great platform because it has educators from different parts of the world around the globe to share their views and thoughts with the rest of the world. And today, yes, we have a very interesting topic, the role of educational institutes in improving mental health. Because we know that nowadays, especially after the pandemic, we have seen a lot of cases that are coming up for the mental health, and the youth are suffering a lot in this. But if you see, right from 3 years of age to at least 21 to 22 years, we go on studying. So we are associated with some kind of educational institutions. And even after that, when we go for the higher studies, we go for the PG, we go for doing PhD and all. So yes, lot of years we are spending in educational institution. So I think that we are talking about as an educator, like most of us who are present here, we are educators. And as an educator, we have an important role to play in ensuring good mental health for our students. And yes, it is going to be a very interesting discussion. And we have with us educators who have joined from different parts of the world. And yes, I can see especially our chairperson, Dr. P.K. Rajput sir, Shada Chakravarti ma'am, Nirmala ma'am from Malaysia, Chandrakala Mishra ma'am, Revati ma'am, and I welcome every one of you. And yes, Frederick sir has also joined. I welcome every one of you for this wonderful session. So let's start with PK Rajput sir, our mentor, our chairperson. Yes, sir. This I hand over the session to you.
Thank you so much. Very good morning to Frederick, sir, because I can see he is basically from African countries. And good afternoon to other members who are going to join. Nirmala ma'am, good afternoon to you, as well as good evening to all the wonderful educators who have joined here and who will be joining here on this wonderful session. So happy to see Dr. Shada Chakravarti, madam, after a long time, right? And Dr. Revti, of course, we met. And you must be thinking that after a long time on the platform of IDYM, we are doing this online session. People were also thinking that why there's a gap is there. So the gap is not there. We were preparing ourselves. We did one of the wonderful program event and where almost more than 151 and 200 total number of the people, they got the offline we felicitated, and it has come in the 150 newspaper where Dr. Revti, Dr. Anjum, so many doctors, so many educators, they have added the thing. So again, thank you so much on the platform of IDYM, which is one of the most renowned platform. I feel very happy and blessed to be a part of this platform. So happy to see Nirmala Devi ma'am has already opened her video. So you always give a lot of energy. And thank you so much, Ankla Mishra ma'am, for joining us here, because for the first time I am interacting with you. Thank you so much. Now coming to one of the very wonderful topic, right? This topic, because now the result has come and we have seen how the student, they were having the agony and they were not able to do justification in spite of getting good marks, and then they have the internal competition. So the mental health is coming up in a very big way. And the post-COVID, it is not only with the student, it is for every community, for the educators, for the family members, and many things. But since we are talking about the student and the education, it is very important to talk the importance of the mental health, especially in the student, because in the schools I'm talking about this, then I'll come to the colleges or the universities. Is it crucial for empowering the student with the knowledge and prompting open dialogue? Because when we were prompting and promoting the open dialogues, it is going to really make a difference, because people will be opening out, the student will be opening out, and then they will not be in the stress. Because we all agree, good mental health is an essential for all, including the student, for their well-being, and they can contribute to every person's ability to find success in the school, in the colleges, or beyond that, which is very there in the entire universe, you can see. And especially the mental health problems, it comes when there's a unnecessary competition, unbiased competition comes up. I say unnecessary, unbiased competition because every student, every person, they have that strength. And what it happen in the contrary, we don't see our strength and they start competing with the other person's strength. And that's why the anxiety, the fear of unknown reaching the things are going to happen, right? And depression comes. When the anxiety is there, then it comes with another sister of depression. So one brother and sister, anxiety and depression comes together, right? And then they make the person in a very different way, in a negative way. And it totally, it has a negative impact, not in the overall performance, but academic performance, leads to the absenteeism because the student doesn't want to go to the school because they will say again the things are going to happen and it affect the ability for building the strong relationship. Today we talk about the no competition. We talk about the collaborative approach, right? So how the collaborative approach will be there, where we're having the positive mental health and positive mental attitude, which is very important. So even the research has also shown, because when we talk to the psychologist, right, and neuropsychologists, both psychologists, neuropsychologists, and psychiatrists, they always say that the psychological factor which help on the college student is the basically coming as the academic success. And believe you me, I will put this thing that the parents, they keep on pushing to the student that why they are not getting the number, why they are not getting the number. Instead of pushing, again I say, don't push the things, pull the things like that, encourage your student, your child, inspire them, because when you keep on inspiring, keep on encouraging, these parts of the things is not going to come. And that is the reason, as a matured people or as a literate people, because say matured and literate, the schools and the parents can play a very vital role in creating protective relationship because they are in the tender age, right? And if we are going to have a protective relationship, we'll be able to nurture. Like they say, we plant a sapling. And what we do initially for 1 week, 15 days, 1 month of time, we will take care that what the real water is required, what type of the fertilizer required, all these things are required. Same way the child has to be taken care in the way and has to be protected. I'm not talking in a negative way, but the positive way. And by educating the students, the teachers, and the parents, we can reduce this stigma surrounding of the mental health issues, encouraging early intervention and promote a healthy and a supportive school environment. So this is the basic thing which we can do it, and it's important. So what education institute can play a vital role in improving the mental health, because it's very important, because here all the educators are there. You are aware about it because every day you are dealing with the student, every day you are dealing with the teachers also, right? Every day you are dealing with the administrative staff also. So basically, I feel that there is a collaboration will be there, should be between the education institute for the mental health part, education to the student, the staff as well, and faculty to raise the awareness about the mental health issues, reduce the stigma and promote mental wellness. Because now, earlier there was a stigma, oh my God, mental health means we used to say this person is a pagal. Sorry to say this word, right? But actually it is not there. It is like some other disease that we suffer with the fever, cold and all. So if you start taking for that, or typhoid, because fever and cold will be subsided in 3 days of that time. Typhoid and jaundice is one of the disease which goes for 15 days of the time. Then how the parents they take care for this thing. Same way if we take care for 15 days of the person who is suffering with the mental health or the depression or the anxiety, then we will be able to take the persons out. Conducting the research, Education Institute can also conduct research to better understand mental health issues and develop effective intervention strategy. Why I'm putting it research? Because if you see in your college, if you see in your school, if they see in the institute, find it out what the things are coming up, what the things are unnecessarily bothering the student, so that they are converting toward that side. So if you want to have the complete research, you'll be able to understand these are the pinpoints are there. We should be ignoring it, or we should be developing that pinpoint so that they should not happening. This other point is there. Creating a supportive environment, which I already spoke about this thing. So if you create a understanding environment, if you create that learning environment, if you create a very positive behavior, right? Because the students who are doing very well, they are already in a positive frame of mind. But the student who is sitting on the last bench doesn't want to speak on the things, having thinking that what is going to happen, my teacher is going to unnecessarily scold me. No, take her to the staff, take her or him to the staff room, console it, That's why we say counseling is very, very important. And if you do start doing this thing, and at the same time, please involve the parents also for the counseling. Because if there will be a three-way approach, that's why the triangle will be there. The school from the teacher side, the parents and the student. So this suffering can be taken care. And then all these things, societal tendency, negative effect, and destroying themselves, playing for the games, and all these things will not be there. So this is a very important segment. Mental health issues are increasing, but the awareness are also increasing very high. And we as an educator, we as a custodian of this beautiful community, we should not be leaving this important segment, because otherwise it is going to become a very bad disease, which should not happen. And it is very important for the growth of civilization, for the growth of the citizenship, for the growth of the nation. So that is all I can say, Dr. Anjum ma'am, learning from all of you, meeting the people who are suffering, being a part of the pharmaceutical industry, talking to the psychologists, psychiatrists, and neuropsychiatrists also, that what are the things are basically required. 4 or 5 points are sufficient for that thing. Rest, I'll be able to listen from all the wonderful educators who will join on this platform of IDMind. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. It was a wonderful start of today's panel discussion, today's session, we can say. And yes, it's rightly pointed by you. You were talking about awareness and you were talking about research. Awareness is actually the first step, because this awareness is increasing, but still awareness is less in many educational institutions, I can say, because in my college itself, a few days ago, I found a student. I could understand the way he was talking to me. I could understand that he is having some kind of problem. But I just observed another faculty, the way he was speaking to him. Because he said, ma'am, just leave him. He has some kind of problem. Like the way, like you was like, okay, the people don't take it so in a healthy way. We should understand that it is just a problem. It is a problem, and every problem has a solution. So you have to help the students to come out of it, rather than just neglecting them because you are a person who has a mental health problem. So you are going to create problems for us. People just take them in that way. Yes, that is very necessary. We need to raise awareness among the students and the teachers, as well as the parents. Only then the students will understand that they are having some kind of problem, and they will come forward and speak to the teachers, sometimes to the teachers, sometimes to the parents, and that can be solved. So yes, of course, that was really a great start. Thank you,
Here,
sir.
ma'am, Dr. Anjuma, here I also like to add, it
Yeah.
is not only the student, because as a principals, because here a lot of the principals are there,
Yeah.
you must be having some of the teachers. They were also suffering with some anxiety and depression.
Yes, of course.
It is obvious, because it is like a rolling effect. So when the teacher suffers with anxiety and the depression, the teacher will not be able to understand the anxiety and depression of the other student who is suffering with that. So that rolling effect is very important. So as a principal, as a head of the entire school or education, please see that which of the teacher, which of the educator is suffering with that. Console that regularly, so that
Yeah.
she or he should come out from that, and tell them the way she has come out or he had come out, same way the student has to be taken out. Because then it will be a very positive atmosphere. Today we talk about the student. The student is the last person of the entire education system. And it has been seen that due to the pandemic, many of the educators, they sometimes, I'm so sorry to say, sometimes they lost their job, or sometimes the schools have not given the proper payments which is there. So that has given a lot of agony and the anxiety. And that prophylactic effect of that anxiety and the depression is still continuing after 1 year of the COVID, which has gone. So it is very important that please scratch it out and take it out, so that you'll be able to take it from the basics itself. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yes, of course, we have to, like you were talking about research, we also have to see what is the environment of that particular school or college, and what is causing stress for the students as well as the teachers. So that was really a great point by you. Thank you very much. And let's move to our next speaker, Dr. Revati Rautrao, ma'am, from Assistant Professor from Sinhagar Institute of Management.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting. So, thank you so much, Anjum Pureshi ma'am. Dr. P.K. Rajput sir, ITYM engineer Ravi Shankar Kumar sir for inviting me in this prestigious event. So good evening to all of you. Yes, education is the creation of a sound mind in a sound body. And in this session, we will explore the vital role of educational institutes play in promoting and enhancing the mental well-being of the students. So by raising awareness, incorporating the mental health education, providing counseling services, and fostering a safe environment. So educational institutes can make a significant impact on students' lives. And mental health is a state of successful performance of a mental function and resulting in productive activities, fulfilling relationships with other person, and the ability to adapt to change and to cope with the adversity. So sound mental health is important for every person. And the concept of mental health is the old as the human beings. And a sound mind in a sound body has been recognized as a social ideal for many centuries. And here, educational institutes have a vital role in addressing the various psychological aspects to improve the students' mental health. So, by focusing on the emotional well being, self esteem, social skills, coping strategies, so positive school climate, stress management, and mental health awareness. So, institutes can create an environment and that supports students' psychological well being and foster their overall development. So, but it is regrettable that that despite being true that educational achievement in India has improved noticeably over the last 50 years, the qualitative advancement has not yet kept pace with the quantitative growth, and the state of education in emerging nations is unsatisfactory and in some respect even unsettling. The standard averages have been dropping and the quality is suffering as a result of fast expansion. And college students' psychological health needs to be more closely monitored, addressed, and the methods of college teaching are given more consideration. So, college students should have access to the proper support. So, every emerging nation is struggling to compete in an increasingly globalized and competitive environment where research, innovation system, then education, and lifelong learning have emerged as an essential factors. And the current youth situation amply demonstrate that our young people's well-being has substantially uh, deteriorated. So for all the students, means college life may be stressful, and today's college students frequently face more challenging issues than they did 10 years ago. So due to rising competitiveness and the expectations from family and friends, students are under a lot of pressure. And as a result, young people start to experience the psychological issues. So time constraints, the efforts to be seen, and the difficult competence are some issues that students face. So students feel inadequate, benefit others, and useless. So they occasionally lose their ability to reason and get addicted. So now let's delve into the first aspect of the role of educational institutes in improving the students' mental health. That is the increasing the awareness and education. And as we know, educational institutes play a crucial role in promoting the mental health education by participating in into the curriculum also. So this raises the awareness and reduces the dishonor and fosters a supportive environment to the students. And by equipping the students with knowledge and understanding, education empower them to seek help, support their peers, and prioritize their mental well-being. Through various communication channels are also there. So schools, they can spread the information about the resources and support services also. So creating a compassionate and empathetic community. So integrating mental health education creates a foundation for a supportive environment that values the well-being. And we can also know that the partnership between the educational institute and mental health organizations, they bring the benefits such as enhanced resources and the expertise. So prioritizing the uh, mental health, it helps the student prosper academically and emotionally for a brighter future. So educational institutes raise the mental health awareness, and they can educate the students by incorporating it into the curriculum, because they teach the importance of well-being, recognizing distress and seeking help. So these educators must be trained on mental health awareness and appropriate reactions in order to foster a safe and informed learning environment. So mental health is not only crucial for the students' overall well-being, but also directly impacts their academic success. And it also affects their ability to focus, concentrate, and retain information. So by prioritizing mental health, educational institutes can create an environment where students can thrive academically, they can develop the resilience, and they can reach their full potential. So there are also practical practices for educational institutes to improve the students' mental health, and that includes, for example, the incorporating mental health education into the curriculum. First, they can provide the access to counseling services, then creating a supportive environment for the students, then implementing early intervention and prevention programs also. They can facilitating the peer support networks. They can also collaborate with the mental health organizations. They can also involve the parents and guardians also, and implementing the stress reduction strategies, and establishing a clear protocols also. So providing professional development for staff. So by implementing these practices, educational institute can support students' mental health, fostering the well-being and the academic success. So they can also integrate the mental health topics into the health or life skill classes also there. They can also offer the workshops or assemblies on stress management, mindfulness, or self care. So they can also invite the guest speakers such as mental health professional or advocates to share their experience and also the insights. So these are some role of educators from my side. So thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really a great session. And yes, as we were discussing earlier when Rajpal sir was speaking, we talked about awareness and counseling sessions that should be there, not only for the students, but for the teacher. Because, you know, many times what is happening is the people don't realize they are having some kind of problem, and we take it as it is some kind of physical problem, and we keep on going to the doctor, we keep on taking medicine. But many times it happens that it is some kind of mental health issue that the people don't realize. Until they realize, it is very late. So yes, of course, there should be counseling sessions for the students, and every school and college, they should be having lectures, we can say, or any other kind of techniques that can be used in the curriculum so that the people are aware of it. So whenever they see such kind of symptoms, they should know that yes, this is not just some kind of headache or some kind of fever, but it is some kind of mental health issue that a person may be suffering from. So yes, this is very necessary, and that was a very good point raised by you. Thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing such a wonderful view on this. Thank you very much. And now it's time to invite our next educator from Malaysia, Nirmala Devi. Ma'am, please take over the session. I welcome you, ma'am, for this great panel
Thank
discussion.
you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Anjum. It is a pleasure to be here in IDYM Foundation again. And a very good evening from Malaysia, Dr. Rajput sir, Dr. Anjum, and dear educators. Thank you so much, sir. You have spoken so well. A lot of information I get from you being an educator. And I feel so happy that Dr. Revati and Dr. Rajput sir, you have opened up the floor and easily for me to jump into the main points. By the way, Dr. Anjum, how many minutes do I have to speak today?
No, ma'am, today we have not given such time limits. It's telling
Better we can give, Anjum ma'am. Is it okay?
Yeah, 10 to
That's
15
better.
minutes, I think.
10 minutes we
Okay.
can, 10 minutes, right? Yeah,
Okay,
good.
thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, so as we all know from what our speakers, both of them mentioned so well regarding the mental health of the students, how do we have to create the environment for the students? So being an elementary school teacher, I've been teaching for the past 23 years. And of course, we are aware of the students' mental health, especially during COVID-19. Many of them were so down, the educators, they were so down because they were not able to communicate with their friends. They were not able to see their teachers. They were at home meeting the parents, the siblings. So it's the same routine every day. And then we had lockdowns a few times where none of the parents, anyone cannot come out from the house. So they face a lot of challenges actually because they couldn't meet others other than their own family members. So they had a lot of social issues, to deal with, even after the school opens. And so we had to deal with the students. They became like a bit slow, in their speaking, writing, even the listening skills and all that. So we have to give them a lot of training. So now we are in endemic status, and then at the same time we are dealing with a lot of issues nicely to help our students. So when we are talking about creating the environment, so I would like to share some slides which I've prepared for this program. So ma'am, may I share the slides, ma'am?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Okay, so hang on, ma'am. Okay, it's loading. Okay. So when we talk about school environment, so I need to introduce my school. Hang on, I just make the screen larger. Okay, sorry. Okay, so this is our school batch. So usually, when new involvement to the school, especially the elementary students, so they are from 7 years old. So we will introduce our school batch, we'll talk to them. So by talking to them about simple things like this, to introducing the school batch is also one of the education that we give to the students when they start to step in the elementary school. So they need to know about the logo, the color, the school songs, the oath and everything related to that. So it is also partly to engage them, not to give them a kind of stress at the beginning of elementary school when they come into the school. So we organize quite a number of programs, for example, 3 weeks program for them to get used to learning in the elementary school for the very first time, especially students who are 7 years old. So for the first 3 weeks, we train them in the normal basic rules to get them used to the school environment. Then, of course, we bring them Okay, this is our school. It was built in 1917, so we have celebrated 100 years of establishment. It is SK Semperi. SK means Sekolah Kebangsaan. It means in English is elementary school. So normally we'll bring the students for the tour in the school to show them the locations of, where is canteen located, the toilet, the laboratory, science lab, the library, and so on. So it is a kind of excitement for the little ones, especially the one that I mentioned just now, 7 years old students entering the elementary school. So it can actually reduce their stress level, because some of them, though they went to kindergarten, but then the fear of the change of environment, entering the new school, new environment, always a kind of phobia for them. Some of them still wants the parents to be with them. They'll be crying, they'll be running out of the classrooms and all that. So we need to make sure that they're comfortable. So we do not want to cause any kind of stress for them. And then at the same time, so we have 14 subjects in the school, elementary school in Malaysia, nationwide, in a government aided school. So the first subject is our national language, compulsory to be learned, Malay language, English. Some school we offer Mandarin language, Arabic language, Islamic studies, moral education, arts, mathematics, music, science, physical education, health education, history, design, and technology education. So when we have these 14 subjects being offered in government aided schools, so meaning to say, from here we can see that the students will definitely face a lot of challenges if we to focus only on one subject. So when we have many subjects and the students are learning from 7 o'clock in the morning until 12:20 in East Malaysia, and West Malaysia, they're learning from 7:40 until 1:20 p.m. So, so approximately around 7 to about few hours of learning, and every half an hour there will be change of subject, or 1 hour after there will be change of subject. So they will be learning a few subjects in a day, just to make sure. And because when they're learning quite a few subjects in a day, it will not create a kind of boringness for them and also stress for them. Because sometimes they'll be learning Malay language, then after that they'll be learning music, then they'll go for their physical education. So when they have changes in subjects, definitely there must be a guided research from the ministry. That's the reason why they have few subjects in order to cope with this kind of mental health and issues. So we do not want the students feel stressed and burdened with some subjects, especially, for example, if the students are weak in mathematics, definitely it's going to be a burden for them to learn mathematics for the next few hours in a day. So that's the reason why there will be changes of subject to create the mood for them in learning and setting different environments in their learning. Okay, so apart from that, this is what I mentioned, the school hours in my school and also in East Malaysia, basically 7 a.m. to 12:20 noon. Recess will be 10 o'clock in the morning until 10:20 in the morning. And then afternoon session will start from 12:20 noon to 5:40 p.m. So it gets dark very early in East Malaysia as compared to West Malaysia. That's why the school session will finish very early in East Malaysia. So we have also many celebrations apart from studying for the students. So we notice that if the students are studying alone in the classroom, definitely they are going to be facing boringness, because the students, they want to be out of the classroom. So we create many programs for them. So as what Revati ma'am mentioned just now, we create the environments. We invite experts to give talk about mental health, and many other talks we arrange for the students, because we know that the students will learn from many programs that we are doing in the school, and we believe that they will be able to learn a lot of information through a lot of projects, hands-on experience from the school, from elementary school, kindergarten, elementary school up to high school. So during our National Day, which will be 31st of August, so usually we will conduct a fashion show, conduct talks, we'll get the students to play games, and a lot of a lot of activities being carried out for them. So from there, we can see that there are a lot of shifts in students' mindset from being in the class, from out of the class. So they are able to learn a lot of things, and it is also helped to change their mindset as well. And another program that we used to do is that related to is also to help them to care for their dental. Okay, so we collaborate with the local authorities, hospital, to get the students to check their dental health, and also for the teachers and also the family members for free. This is a pilot project being done in my district, especially our school is being selected. So we are in this program, and it creates another kind of environment for the students to get to learn about keeping their dental, the oral health clean. And also we have many activities like sports, reading for English language, and also other subject called highly immersive program, where it is introduced by Ministry of Education in Malaysia. The students from elementary school and also high school, they need to engage in rich learning English environment. So for that, we create a lot of activities out of the class activities, and also outreach programs like collaborating globally and locally with other educators and classroom in order for students to engage and learn from one another. So this is also creating a kind of positive environment for them to learn, and different mindset for them to learn as well. All right, and so this is open day in education department, where we bring our students to expose to different kind of learning, where they are not only confined to the classrooms. So here they're able to engage with other educators and students from the district, and they get to go around in many booths and to engage themselves in games, in listening to talks, and many other activities. And we also have exhibitions. We bring our students for exhibitions, and we get them to also learn about SDGs and all that. Apart from what is being taught in the classroom through textbook, they learn how to create, how to collaborate and communicate with others in order to have experience of different mindsets. So what I'm trying to tell is that not only engaging them in communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking, but also bring them to a different mindset. For example, this coming Saturday and Sunday, I'm bringing my students who are 11 to 12 years old to a Pizza Hut outlet, where the students will be learning how to make pizza from A to Z. Though it is like, for example, the parents usually bring them to Pizza Hut outlet to have any birthday celebrations or gatherings, or they even order pizza online, which is very common nowadays. But when I told the parents that I'm going to bring them out for this hands-on workshop this coming Saturday and Sunday, many parents supported me, regardless of their experience bringing the children to the same outlet that I'm going to bring. But what they believe is that the experience the children going to get, they are going to have different mindset, different kind of feeling when they are going to join with me in order to experience the hands-on of making the pizza. So it is a positive kind of thing which I feel I'm giving for my students to experience out of the classroom. And then, of course, other activities, we have Teachers' Day celebration, Children's Day celebration, where they are exposed to different kind of activities and environment in order to experience. So when they're celebrating the teachers, they have different kind of mindset. When they're celebrating for themselves, Children's Day celebration, they have a better mindset to be able to experience for the celebration of themselves being celebrated. So definitely it's give positive mindset, positive mental health for them. And we have story time, reading time, where we give experience for the students to listen to others and also to challenge themselves to memorize the story and tell the story and all that. So we try to create different kinds of activities and environment for the students. And we have health checkups for the students as well. During COVID-19, during the school opening, we had the health checkups and all that, but slowly we have been reducing all this because we are back to normal. So we no longer are encouraging the students to wear face masks, but they are advised to as well. And during the Eid al-Fitr celebration, so as we know, Muslims, they fast for 1 month. So once they're back to school, after the Eid celebration, so we will have grand celebration nationwide in the school to appreciate one another's culture, religion, ethnics. So we will have celebration. So this is also creating positive health for them, mindset for them, in order to appreciate one another and to take things relaxed and enjoy themselves. And of course, this is our school uniform for the elementary school students. It's dark blue and white. And I think by creating this positive environment for the students with different kinds of project, different kinds of celebration, different kinds of activities from the Ministry of Education, and also initiative from the teachers and educators, educators, and also with the collaboration with Parent Teacher Association and also our community, in the district, I am sure the students are able to cope up with good mental health in order to learn and also to be somebody as a leader in the future. And of course, we have some students, for example, I would like to say there's some students, they are not able to socialize. They will be just scanning us. They do not want to open the mouth to talk, and they are more into gadgets and all that. So we notice that when we create this kind of activities, right, even the introvert students or those students are so hooked up in gadgets, they do not want to communicate with others. They are able to say a few words. They're able to communicate in activities like storytelling, public speaking, games, puzzles, and they're able to dance, they're able to join the fashion show and all that. So by creating all these activities for them, I noticed that we are creating a positive environment to empower the students and to come out from their comfort zone. If at all we find any students having any mental health problem or stress or any family problems and all that, we will refer them to our school counselor, and everything will be private and confidential, and things should be solved. Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you, Dr. Anjum, for always giving me this opportunity, and Dr. Rajput sir as well. Thank you, IDYM Foundation, for listening to my baby step story.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, salute to you. Yes, because it is not just a presentation, but it is the work that we have been doing as an educator, and we have been doing a great work. And as I always say, this is the magic of ITYM, that the people from different countries, we are educators from different countries. You are from Malaysia. We also have today from Cameroon who have been joining with us, and then from Greece, Rania ma'am has joined us, and that's even educators like myself and our Revati ma'am. We are dealing with the children in colleges, and you are dealing at the elementary level. Some of them are at the high school level. So we are all dealing with different kind of people, and we all have different kind of experiences. But yes, the one thing that is common, as you were telling about activities, yes, of course, I also believe, because activities, even when I organize, what I do is I leave it to the students, because for us, when I'm in college, I have all coming after class 12, means they're all above 18. So they are, they can organize it themselves. So I did a very small experiment this time. Like in our college, we have critical thinking projects in which every student has to prepare a report. It is related to the subject, but not what is mentioned in the syllabus. It is beyond the syllabus. So I have a subject which is communication based. So what I told them is, you don't have to prepare a report, you have to prepare a video of any kind of communication devices that you're using. And I must say that was so amazing activity. Before the deadline, they were ready, because the young generation, they're very busy with the mobile, and they're so interested in making reels and putting on the Instagram. So I said, you're so fond of making videos, now make a video of this, in which they presented reviews of different kind of mobile phones, different kind of laptops, and that was an amazing activity. So yes, if we plan for an activity that the students will like. So yeah, the students were doing it and they enjoyed it very much. So yes, of course, if we go with such kind of activities, the kind of stress that is being induced due to all this educational curriculum, I think that can come down, and we can help the students to have good mental health. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anju ma'am, for sharing the story from your side. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you. And now let's welcome one more guest, Frederick Sir, who has joined us for the session from Cameroon. So Frederick Sir, now we would like to hear from you.
Thank you very much. Frederick Ebot Ashu, it's my name. I'll be talking about more in higher education where I work. I'll be pleased trying to share my slides if it's gonna work. Yes, I hope you can see it. Are you seeing my slide?
No, sir.
Okay. Yes. Oh, has it come on now or? God.
No.
No, sorry.
Yes, now it's visible.
Okay. The role of education as which is the topic of what we are talking about. So some of the key points which I will try to talk about is the student and the staff, in education about mental health, coping with the skills and the resources and to seeking support. So the educational institution could help, to prevent and mitigate the development of the mental health issues by browsing on the staffs and students' intellectual. So what I'm focusing more on on the intellectual, social, and emotional intelligence here. So I'll look typically on the student center teaching strategies that promote pleasant environment and the students' well-being, such as cooperative learning and combating bullying, harassment, establishing groups and other student active. These are all things that happen in a university milieu where I worked. I was so impressed with the other presentation. Everybody has a different angle. Mine is focusing more on higher education because that is where I teach. So developing a curriculum, somebody have already talked about that address the support and positive mental health of students and staff. So having a dedicated team. As a teacher, when you work as part of a team, you feel happy and you rejoice and you're very pleased. But when you're isolated, sometimes it becomes very difficult. You become vulnerable. So establishing policies and processes that is promote well-being. So establishing policies comes sometimes mostly from the educational system. So what I've done here, I've put some examples of my lessons. I typically teach history of education because I'm a leadership specialist. So education, the history of education is an important instrument because those of you who know about Cameroon very well, we have a problem here on the English and the French system of education. We are a bilingual country by nature, colonized by the French and the English system. So from the first picture you see that, we also have an important indigenous system, which I think the colonial system has actually made us forget about it. And some of these things are some of the problems that have brought a lot of conflicts, brought a lot of terrorism and so many issues in Cameroon. So organizing lessons and activities in class where the students have to, do things like drama, about the German participation in education, for example, on the second picture there, making the colonies and their participation in education, how they interact.
Transition your career into data science and find a place in.
Yes, mimicking the ways the colonies behave when they were in country and showing pictures about their participation. We also have a picture here about the indigenous system, our traditions and our values are so important as concerned education, and our way of life and our interaction. I also strongly feel these ways, it enables the people in our society to have love for themselves, understanding their own identity, understanding their relationship, and they should not take some of the colonies' ways to be so personal, but as a way of learning and developing. So we also try to socialize with students and to make them feel welcome and approachable, and you can debate and talk about so many things. So if we look at combating bullying, bullying is a very difficult part. It brings a lot of mental health. Some children really go astray when they are being bullied. So we are recommending that bullying should be well discussed, especially with students. Understanding diversity and so on, it's an important aspect. We also have developing the curriculum, which somebody have already talked about, address the support and positive aspects of mental health, even bringing in the SDGs as a way of life, organizing seminars, teaching the students how to take part in research activities. Then I think my last point here is having a dedicated thing. I think everybody wants to be part of the team or focus. So the constructing hegemony, it's about some of the groups. You see, when some people are not being able to take part in groups or maybe to be part of a society, they become withdrawn or have mental health issues. We should try to identify some of this hegemony which happen in school milieus. So the students should be aware of them as well and get them engaged in some of their activities. I think the last slide is establishing policies. So policies, teaching about mental health issues, promoting well-being, I think those are very key important aspects so far as mental health is concerned. So I try to keep it short, and I hope it's been very helpful. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. It was actually a wonderful and a very colorful presentation, and the kind of activities that we have been initiating, it's really very nice. In fact, you say you in such a short time, you just brought about so many kind of presentation, so many kind of activities, and also how every one of us being an educator, how we can help the students, how we can help the students and everyone associated with educational institutions to deal with this problem of mental health. Thank you, sir, for joining, and thank you for this wonderful presentation.
Thank you, IDM, for the opportunity, and it's a great pleasure listening to what you people have to say and your contributions. I think mental health issues are disturbing quite a lot of people. A lot of countries like Cameroon is going through a lot of difficulties because of mental health. I think it's an important topic and it needs to be promoted, and people need to be more educated to understand the issues, because we are the creator of all these problems, and these things needs to be well addressed.
Yes.
Thanks very much and for organizing this platform. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And now let's invite our next speaker from Greece, Rania Lamba, ma'am.
Good evening from Greece. Nice to see you, Dr. Anjoum. And I would like to congratulate all the team of IDYM for this very important conference. And also I would like to thank Dr. Ravi Shankar for the invitation. And of course, investing in health and well-being is as important as investing in education programs and for facilities and teachers. This means that the resources in education expenditures must substantially increase. In Greece, we have alarming rates in cyberbullying because we have high rates of addiction to internet in comparison to other European countries. But at the same time, there are not only students who are suffering, teachers are also suffering. Burnout is a very common phenomenon among teaching educators around Europe. So well-being, as well as health and nutrition, are very important in education because healthy children and adolescents are better learners and they become healthier, more productive adults. So good mental health and well-being are essential for school students because they help them to learn effectively to cope with day-to-day challenges and develop into resilient young adults. And not forget that during the COVID pandemic, and after this, the mental health problems were dramatically increased. So I will share now my presentation, if it's possible. Can you see now my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. So know that well-being is this broad concept that covers a wide range of psychological, physical abilities. It includes mental, emotional, social, physical well-being, physical education, food and health, substance misuse, relationship, sexual health, and parenthood. And when we talk about school well-being is often overlooked. But it's crucial, as I said before, for teachers and students, because it has been shown to have a positive effect on school climate, on student achievement, and teacher retention rates. So there are many factors that actually contribute to school well-being. Some of the most important are school culture, teacher support, and student engagement. A school with a positive culture creates an environment where everyone feels valued and respected. Teachers who feel supported by their colleagues and the administration are more likely to be engaged in work and create positive relationships with their students. And of course, students who feel connected to their school and their classmates are more likely to be engaged in learning and thrive academically. So all these factors, when all these factors are present, this creates a school environment that supports mental health and well-being of everyone involved. And especially the formative years of childhood and adolescence are critical in the development of long-term abilities. So young people acquire social and emotional competencies and behaviors in the classroom that support resilience development. Therefore, we need frameworks. Frameworks national and international need to be established for managing their physical and mental health. Because helping kids feel that they are cherished as individuals, that school life has meaning and purpose for them, I think is the first step in addressing student well-being at school. And of course, if we talk about well-being at school, it means feeling safe, have a positive self-esteem, self-efficacy, sense of autonomy, feel a sense of belonging to the class, said before, feel happy, satisfied, and being actively and meaningfully engaged in academic social activities. So schools, of course, should give all members of the school community the chance to take part in meaningful decision-making, create a friendly environment where everyone can feel supported and safe by participating in authentic activities. So effective teaching strategies can contribute to positive climate, classroom climate and well-being. So now, confusingly, the term mental health is often used to mean mental health problems or mental ill health or lack of health, rather than the presence of strategies for mental health or well-being, and that reducing ill-being automatically improves well-being. So well-being and ill-being operate actually on two separate but interrelated spectrums. When we refer to mental health, we define it as this ability to have positive mental health and increased capacities for well-being, which enable students to flourish in life. So we support school to increase, we should support them to increase the strategies for well-being and support all the students towards flourishing. You know that, of course, many children and young people do not know how to develop well-being, and they have few strategies for positive mental health. This is known as what we call languishing. Languishing in a psychological context describes what we call the lack of mental health. Corey Casey was the first one who introduced this concept, and he divided mental health into 4 levels: flourishing good mental health, moderate mental health, languishing or poor mental health, and depression. So languishing, what is languishing? Typically marks a decline in our mental health, though we can still function in our daily life. So a state of languishing can leave us with a neutral or flat mindset when we have few strong emotions. So this is a flat mindset that we call languishing. And what is the case of mental health of students in Europe? What is happening here? As I said before, after the COVID pandemic, this crisis took a heavy toll on children's mental health due to a lack of social engagement and contact. So this lack of strategies for mental health has been exacerbated by the crisis. Children missed school and recreational activities. They struggle with remote learning and lack of learning supports. And research reports many health disorders such as depression, stress, post-traumatic stress, suicide, and many other problems. Also, in Europe, research shows that young people with mental health issues, they don't receive help at all. This is very, very important because they don't know where they should address to. So we need to say before to promote strategies of well-being, and school bullying, as I said before, is a main issue, especially here in Greece. Has devastating consequences. We are among the first countries in Europe with these high rates. I can see from students what is happening. They're suffering every day. We have serious cases of this, and teachers don't know how to face it. And this, of course, causes serious mental health problems. And I should add the case of the war, the war between Russia and Ukraine. It has something which has exacerbated mental health issues also among youth and among children. So students and teachers are both facing mental health disorders, and teachers are not sufficiently prepared to these issues, so they needed to be supported. So, of course, schools are actually are the key to promote mental health. Incorporating social emotional learning, mental health well-being, and bullying prevention programs is one of the effective ways to support the psychological well-being. So we need a more whole school approach or more holistic vision of education. Because early prevention is very important, early intervention, in order to prevent more serious problems in adulthood. So how to improve mental health and well-being in school? Previous speakers have already talked about it. We need to provide information and resources about how to cope with stress and depression. Of course, to teach strategies for positive mental health, how to create supportive environments where students can feel comfortable when they discuss their mental health issues, how to promote positive thinking, and of course, resilience. Very interesting activities are the campaigns like Children's Mental Health Week and Mental Health Awareness Day that actually are very popular in Europe and in Greece, that can actually help to raise mental health awareness. And in surveys that was conducted, that 90% of children and young people think that mental health and well-being should be taught in schools. And of course, what other strategies that we can promote is how to incorporate structured lessons. Of course, to provide continuous professional development opportunities for staff, mental health, for all educators. To have, if it is possible, a psychologist in the classroom or a senior mental health leader to have a strategic oversight, and engage always with parents. This is very significant. And as I said before, give always regular opportunities to students to talk and to express their problems. This is not easy, I know. It's not easy to unlock children and encourage them to express their feelings and their problems. So most important, I think, of all is what we call positive education, which is applied positive psychology within educational settings. And this is important. Why? Because it uses evidence-based strategies that develop positive mental health and they can move children and young people away from what I said before, languishing. So by having a whole school approach to mental health and well-being, school and colleges can be better placed to respond to the individual needs of the community and will create a culture that actually supports emotional well-being and resilience. Positive education includes self-awareness, ability to focus, ability to action plans, to set and achieve goals, of course, decision-making, emotional literacy, and communication. Take a coordinated and evidence-informed approach to mental health in school and colleges. This could lead to improved student well-being, which, of course, in turn can improve learning. And schools are the best, I think, best placed to spot the early signs of poor mental health and emotional well-being. So it's up to us as educators to identify these signs. So what happens in Greece, I can mention some cases. Very popular is the Search Pathways Framework in UK. It's a research-based positive education framework that actually helps students to help schools to develop a whole school well-being curriculum and to develop interventions. The Search Pathways includes these components: relationships, habits and goals, coping, resilience, emotional management, attention and awareness. What happens in Greece? Of course, we have many issues, as I said before. And of course, I mentioned the cyberbullying, but the case of violence, also gender-based violence. So Greece actually needs to adopt more comprehensive policies to ensure the well-being of students and teachers. And recently we have our minister introduced a new subject, which is called the Skills Labs. It was awarded at a European level, and this covers pre-primary, primary, lower secondary education, promotes non-violent behavior, mental, emotional health. And here you can see one thematic session is better living, well-being, apart from environmental consciousness, social consciousness, etc. So it's a big step. It's an optional subject, but it's a great step for Greece. When we talk about health in general, we have many programs here in Greece about healthy school meals. Thousands of students are getting for free, who are coming from low socioeconomic background, are getting healthy school meals. As everyone said before, we have created a information platform for young people. And we have also a school violence and bullying prevention observatory. And we have launched also here in Greece a Pan-Hellenic School Day against violence at school on 6 March. In Europe also, there are many, many programs about European healthy school meals, and not only meals, in general, many programs. There are groups that actually help governments to share health and economic data, policy ideas, best practices. They work on priorities, how to improve food product recipes, how to reduce the exposure of children to foods high in fat and sugars, to encourage them physical activities, to identify research gaps and support health in all policies, and of course to reduce health inequalities. Another European Union funded project is School Food for Change, which actually help school meals as catalyst for systemic change on a broad level. The WISE project, which encourages actually higher education also, it's we forgot this case. When we talk about mental health in schools, usually we have in mind primary and secondary education, but in higher education also, it's also important to identify problems. So this project, the WISE project, aims to identify what is important for well-being of students of universities, how universities and student organizations can act in favor of student well-being, to develop proposals and communications, develop resources and training to help these students. So what will be the recommendations for Europe? On the policy level, of course, this is a key learning goal in 21st century. And we always talk about a bottom-up, a participatory approach, including representative student voice, evidence-based before, mental health is synonym with evidence-based practice. If we don't have evidence-based practices and real data, we cannot move forward. Develop mental health well-being curriculum. I said before, in Greece, we have integrated this subject in our curriculum and adopt a systemic whole school approach. In any case, I know that it's not easy to deal with as educators because usually we have degrees or bachelor degrees in, we are experts in our field, for instance, in language or physics or anything else, but we are not experts in pedagogy or in psychology. So obviously teachers need training, and there is a lack of training. And during the COVID pandemic, we have realized that we are not sufficient enough. We are not trained enough as teachers to deal with these kind of problems, and especially the problems of the cyber world. And don't forget the role, the importance of neuroeducation, how the brain-based strategies are important in helping the children deal with mental health issues. So thank you very much, how to create positive emotions and develop social skills and create, in any case, safe environment. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you IDYM for the invitation.
Thank you very much, ma'am. That was really an amazing presentation. As you were talking about so many things, the kind of, you really talked about how the educators can be working, how the educational institutions can be working. So it was really an amazing presentation. And you, as we're talking, especially regarding the European, Europe, the recommendations of European Union, of course, we need to talk about it. We need to come together and talk about it. That was really great. Thank you for joining, and thank you for sharing your wonderful presentation with us and your views with us.
Burnout of teachers is very common in Europe. And every day I'm talking with teachers who are suffering from this. And me too, I'm a victim of this. Many times in my life, I have gone through burnout. So you know, I'm talking from my own personal experience that we need help. Teachers need help.
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this wonderful, and I can see everyone responding to it, like wonderful presentation, excellent presentation. So that's really good and good to see. So now let's move on to the next speaker. We have Nahid Reza sir with us. Yes, sir. I invite you for one more interesting session from you.
Well, thank you very much. I'm Nahid Reza, right? And I've been listening. I've been getting motivated and inspired to listen to this meticulous talk. And ma'am has worked very hard. Rania ma'am, she explained in a very nice manner. So I am putting forth only 3 points: autonomy, mastery, and relatedness. Autonomy should be accorded to students so that they can become independent thinkers. Generally, I talk about Leonardo da Vinci and Steve Jobs. They were independent thinkers because they had autonomy. There was no pressure. When pressure is not there, children are mentally fine. They celebrate their life. It is very simple. So curriculum planning must be done in accordance with the view, passion, interest, enthusiasm of children. If they are unable to tell, we need to understand what are their priorities, and we should have curriculum planning in accordance with the level of students, right? In the same manner, seating arrangement should be fixed, should be designed again with the view, with the opinion of children, so that they feel at ease in the classes. Classes should not be burdened, because we are here in the classes, we are there in the school to create leaders, not the clerk, right? So they say their views must be respected, must be materialized, as they say, with our views and experience. Usage of green board, the way they like, we should use green board in the classroom. And we should use not only for transmitting information and knowledge, but also for respecting children, for honoring them, and for expression of their views, and their views must be written on green board. This is how we can transfer autonomy. Activities should be there. Activities should be designed so that every child participates. Generally, we organize activities. Some students are very active, some students are less active, and some students are withdrawn and not active at all. So we should have views. We should see the again passion in activities. What could be done to make children better? Because every day is a new day and children should come to school, right? So mental health will automatically be improving. In the same manner, games should be more. What I do, I generally in the morning itself, when I visit my school, I do not wish to confine my students. I send them to ground, no matter 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 6 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 minutes, so that their tension is released. Because in the morning, children are very busy, and right, morning hours are very hectic for students because they will have to get ready, they will have to put every day into order, they will have to prepare their bags, right? And they come to school, buses are used, and this and that. Lot many things are happening in the school. So when school to welcome our students and their tension should be released, we are not there to problems. Collaboration between students is very helpful. If we collaborate, children feel better. When they feel better, mental health is automatically better, right? So children should pair themselves. Children should teach, educate themselves among themselves, and they finally, when their opinion is formed, they can express in the entire class. Right? In the same manner, children should have celebrations. When celebrations are there, they feel enthusiastic, they feel happy. When they feel happy, again, tension is minimized. Right? Designing a stage when programs are there, children should be given autonomy. Children should have say in how stage of the celebration should be structured, so they will feel happy. And Fred talked about setting processes and procedure. It is very essential. Setting policies, children should know, and they should be known that yes, these are expectations from our teachers. So generally children try to follow. Since they do not know, they cannot follow. So we should have some formulated policies that children should follow them. Experiential learning should be materialized so that children are working, their motor skills are developing, their fine motor skills are developing, and when they have good coordination between eyes and hands, they feel happy, right? And children should be allowed to express themselves. My second point, mastery. Every child is there in the school with a purpose, right? So we should try to discover what are the strengths of the children, right? Right? And the strength should be emphasized, and that strength should be transferred to other students so that they feel happy, they feel more enthusiastic, they feel that yes, I'm worth living. I'm a very essential person of the community, and right, I could become a leader, and child becomes a leader. Going well in right direction, right? And first of all, we should try to develop language skills. For language skills, when children know that yes, I'm gaining, my purpose is fulfilled. The purpose I am coming to school for is being done. So child feel happy. When child feels happy, health is automatically setting in. In the same manner, writing skills should be emphasized because reading, writing, numeracy are the soul of education, soul of literacy. So first of all, we should initiate literacy, then we should come to creativity. Children should be given autonomy, as I stated. They will feel themselves right, and whatever they do, their strength is there, we should appreciate. Yes, you are telling other students are also appreciating. Children feel themselves very happy, enthusiastic, and they feel at home, at ease, comfortable in school. and a school becomes a very good ground for that child. Yet, yes, right? A child should be used for others. Yes, you can transfer your right, and 24 hours strategy of developing oneself. It is written in Outliers, right? So if you Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, right? Bill Gates, right? So children have one particular strength, and try to first of all try to discover their strength, try to develop that strength, and try to share that strength. world will be lonely, right? We should not be satisfied with what we should carry, because this is a journey. We should try to create greatness among students. Now my third and last, relatedness. We should relate ourselves to students. They should feel respected. Their culture should be respected, right? Whatever they have, their diversity should be respected, cherished, and beautified further, right? And we have high expectations. We should share our expectations, right? Personal talk should be initiated so that child feel at ease when personal talk is there. Children are very much related to school, very much related to connected to teachers. We should talk about festivals, right? We should talk about uniformity, and relation should be strengthened, beautified, and cherished. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That was really a very energetic and wonderful talk, we can say. And we could actually experience the way you were talking. It is some of the personal experiences, I think, with every educator must have, with everyone who is present here. Yes, of course, we have to create stress-free environment for the students. And at the same time, we have to help them to deal with the stress that is coming, because though we say stress management, avoid stress, but there is no person in this world who does not have any kind of stress, but we should know how to deal with it. And yes, as an educator, as a principal, I think you were telling about so many tips that every one of us can take from you to deal with this problem of mental health. Thank you, sir, for joining, and thank you for sharing your wonderful views with us. And now I think let's move on to the next speaker, Dr. Sharda Chakravarti, ma'am. Dr. Sharda, are you there? Yeah, another wonderful speaker of our IDYM platform. Dr. Sharda Chakravarti, ma'am.
Can you hear me, ma'am? Can you hear me
Yes.
now? Okay.
Yes, please go
1
ahead.
minute. Give me 1 minute.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Actually, can you all hear me properly now?
Yes, we can, but we are not able to see you.
Just a minute, ma'am. Just a minute, ma'am. Actually, I'm fixing my. Not getting. Can you see me now properly? Can you
Yes,
see
go
me,
ahead.
ma'am?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sure.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Anjum ma'am and IDYM for inviting and giving this a wonderful topic today. And I start with my small presentation today. I have made a small presentation for today. So I'll share with that. Okay. So now I want to share this slide with all of you. This beautiful slide, what does it say? There are so many animals, starting from a bird to a monkey to a penguin, an elephant, a beautiful fish, I think a seal and a dog. They are all standing. And what is the sir saying? For a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. And do you know, this poor fish and other animals, they think they are not genius because this monkey can climb the tree very fast, much faster than these animals. So how beautifully quoted by Albert Einstein, everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. Yes, that is our education system. Our education system is giving this type of competition to all the students. I remember being an educator. Very recently, a parent came to me. This boy was not coming to school. I am class 11 and 12 teacher teaching biology, and this boy is in my class. And I called up his parents and I said, sir, what's happening? Your son is not coming to school? Then he said, ma'am, can you please give me 10 minutes of your time? I'll come to school and I'll talk to you. I said, okay, please come. He came after the school was over and he told me, ma'am, do you know, I lost my wife about 4 to 5 years ago and my son stays at home alone. I said, okay, there's only one domestic helper who helps him, cooks the food, etc. I said, okay, do you know, ma'am, I have sent him in a competitive exam center where he can study for his competitive exam. I said, that's great. But he said, do you know, ma'am, the boy is facing lot of depression, lot of anxiety. So this is the scenario. The children, they are forced to study a subject they don't even like to, but the rat race is going like this, that they have to either go into that race or they think that they are left out. And this FOMO, fear of missing out, I'm missing something. If I don't become an engineer, then my life is finished. Foreseeing a future which is just hidden behind the curtain, the child is focusing on his future only instead of looking at his present and they are not mindful. The most important characteristic of a person should be, they should be mindful. I remember my spiritual guru, Nitya Shanti's one beautiful statement. He said, there was a fair, and in that fair, there were 3 stalls, one past, one present, and one future. And the people, they were crowded mostly either in their past or their future. They were not at all interested what is at present. So that is the irony, that we are running behind a particular thing which is just hidden behind a dark curtain where we have no idea. The students, they are having these issues like anxiety, depression, ADHD. The small kids, one of my friends' daughter, she's having this problem. Which is causing like difficulty with attention, hyperactivity, and so many things. Eating disorder, they are common in college going students and even in the school going students. Of course, the substance use disorders, in order to be in the, so that nobody knows about this, they are taking this, getting into addictions like alcohol, which is so very common these days. And of course, there are many, many addictions. Mood disorders, sometimes they are saying this and sometimes they are at the same time, other time they are saying two contradictory things, which you can't even match, because being there with the students, most of the time, I find these type of things. And there are some triggers actually, which are causing them this mental issues like, academic pressure. I told you, like, even if you are not good in science, the parents, they are pressurizing you, especially I'm talking about India, where the child has to become a doctor or an engineer or a CA, like all these things. And this poor 16 to 17 age students, they are forced into about 12 hours Saturdays and Sundays. They are studying for 12 hours. Can your mind take 12 hours pressure? Life changes, some triggers like in family, if they have some anxiety in the school due to the pressure, so they are getting triggered. So of course, the substance use, sleep difficulties, we know, because of this irritability, mood swings, they are not able to concentrate, they are not able to sleep. And nowadays, especially after Corona, the children, they are more into the gadgets. Of course, they are having gadgets. And do you know, this rays makes your brain feel that it's still day. And the children, they are not able to sleep. social isolation. Sometimes, this particular class students, they make a groupism and they make, this child get into isolation. They are not mixing up with the people, with the students. Trauma, some, childhood trauma and all these things, they are actually triggering this mental health issues in the students. But, there are the three stakeholders when we talk about the parents, the teachers, and the students. So parents and teachers, they have to look out. They have to be very, very vigilant in their class. Like, what is the root, how the students are behaving, what is happening. This boy was good in studies, but now this boy suddenly has gone into isolation. What is this? How their behavior is changing? Or in academic changes, being absent, sitting in the last bench, okay, and not being careful about their personal hygiene and all these things, we have to look into, we have to be very, very inquisitive, and we have to see, because they are our own. Whatever we are doing today, earning money or giving a good lifestyle to our family, why are we doing it? We are mainly doing it for our children. The schools are there for the children. So everything is actually a student. Everything starts with the child. So we have to be very, very, we have to have that eagle eye. Why? Is there any change in the child? My child was not like this, but, slowly he's getting into this. What is the reason? Come to the school, or the teachers should ask the parents, this is happening. Like, what is the reason? What is happening in your home? And so on. For example, my daughter went into a great shock when she lost her grandmother, and she was sitting very quietly in the class. And I got a phone call from her teacher asking me, ma'am, your daughter is not paying attention in the class. What happened? So I told him about my daughter, about her grandmother. And see, in this way, if like there would have been something else, we can come to that. We can get the root cause. And when the root cause we get the root cause, it's very easy to, to get this particular thing at right place. So I never call anything a problem. I call it a challenge. So whenever we use this heavy words problem, so what happens? The brain takes it like that. So instead of using problems, you can use challenges. And of course, if there are challenges, of course, everybody love to take these challenges, and we can come out of this. And how the universities or schools, they can do it. There's a stigma, as very rightly said by Dr. Rajput. So he said, mental health is still a stigma, isn't it? And it's taken sometimes, some students, they are just sitting quietly and someone comes at pagal hai, mental, crazy person, mad person, means they are taking it so very lightly. A person can have a, grave problem. So there should be increased mental health literacy workshop. People should be called, and it should be a conversation sort of. Help-seeking behavior, students should be encouraged. If you have any problem, you can come to the counseling service. There are hotlines, or there are support resources. Come, they should be encouraged. Provide safe places. Of course, just now one of the educators said it should be very confidential. If a child is coming to you, even you're not a counselor, but you are an empathetic person, try to understand. These days, the children, they are also having mental problem because of mental challenges, because they are now, sometimes their sexuality is challenged. Just now today, I got a particular beautiful note in one of my students' WhatsApp status, and he declared to the world, now he has been selected he has cracked his medical, and he's a genius. And he gave it in his status very happily, and dignified way. He has accepted that he is a gay. So this mental pressure was going on, and I knew about it. And when the students, they told me, and I never said anything, and I was really very comfortable with him and his partner. So there are people who, have this problem. To please say that, give them safe spaces and increase contact with the individual. Try to invite people, who can speak on mental illness and how they have overcome. Of course, when Deepika Padukone and many actors, they are coming in front and they are talking about all those things. And in this way, we can do it. And the universities and college can expand counseling service, motivational speeches, hotlines, skill training, of course, when like time management, stress management, all the skills. And of course, because all of us know that this challenges lead to the suicide later on. The children, they suicide at a very young age. So we can do this training, and in this way we can help our students. So everybody can take this responsibility and help in this particular challenge. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Anjum ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, Sharda ma'am. That was really an amazing presentation. And as you were talking about, yes, we all have a great role to play. And when mental health is still taken as a stigma, the first thing that we have to do is we have to remove that kind of stigma. And one more important, very important point that you were talking about is like when some student, as an educator, when some student comes and shares with us about some kind of issue he or she may be having, it is our duty to maintain their privacy. Because, because of this thing that if I to someone, so we are not able to judge whether that particular person will keep it confidential or not, or he will go and tell to others. So yes, maintaining privacy is very important when someone is coming to us. Because of this fear, people are not able to speak out that I have a problem. And then it remains a problem for them. If they speak out, yes, there are many ways we can be helping them. That was really a very good point, and that's an amazing and excellent presentation for the day. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. So now let's call upon our next speaker, Laura Stanciu, ma'am, from Romania.
Hello, everyone. Greetings from Romania. I am Laura Stanciu. And first of all, I wish to thank IDYM for organizing this conference on such an important topic, the role of educational institutes in improving mental health. The field of education is one where mental health is of utter importance because we are shaping and forming the generations of tomorrow. We have to make sure that we equip them with the right skills, the right knowledge, but also the mental strength to face day-to-day challenges. As educator, my priority is the well-being of my students because we have to keep in mind that their intelligence is important, but also their personalities and their souls. That is why we need this very important mission, increasing their mental well-being, because when students are happy, when they can look at everything around them with an open heart, and they don't have problems that make them think about other things, they are more concentrated on their learning and they can become better. In Romania, we have many organizations that help us to deal with the problems that take place in schools, such as bullying, cyberbullying, and the stress that students have in their activities. For example, bullying and cyberbullying can affect students in a very negative way, just like any other forms of violence. and these things should not exist in schools. And the effects are terrible, from physical to mental ones. When we see students struggling with things like anxiety, depression, fear, or when they are aggressive, when we see that they become lonely, when they have problems such as headache, weight loss, or overeating, we have to see this as a warning sign and try to do our best to find where the problem is. When students' grades drop, when we see that they don't communicate as well as before, it means that they have a problem. And we should always try to encourage them to talk about their problems, to open their souls, because a school counselor, a teacher, school psychology can make a big difference for them. Just listening, just taking a bit of time to give them the chance to share what is on their mind can help them face those problems. When shared, the problems seem smaller and the solution is easier to see. In our school, we have lots of activities that try to prevent bullying and to give the students the chance to collaborate amongst themselves. All activities should be designed so as to promote equality, tolerance, and acceptance. Students should understand that they have to treat their peers with kindness, because each class is like a small family, a small community, and each student has a role and can make a contribution, a positive contribution. When they become bullies, or when they ignore or mistreat the others, they create a communication gap, a wall of negativity, and they undermine the success of that class. When they treat others with respect, this respect is also reflected onto themselves. One of the ways we have of promoting tolerance is through theater, because when they collaborate and try to put a play on the stage together, they have to listen to the others. They have to communicate and listen to the signs that are present in a play. And through this simple exercise, they realize how important each of them is for the success of that play. They cannot do that performance in the end in front of an audience without each and every member present on stage. It might seem a simple exercise, but it helps to create a well functioning group. Another way we have is to collaborate with different non-governmental organizations and to organize volunteering activities. When students lend a helping hand, it shows them how they can change the world in a positive way, how they can bring their contribution. And for most students, it is an experience that can be truly enlightening. With a little help by doing something very small, for example, donating or giving lessons to students who are not as fortunate as them, teaching them different things that they know. So these actions of volunteering truly have an impact, and they make the students kinder, and they truly become the people they will be in the future. We also have collaborations with the police, because it is very good for students to hear firsthand how important it is to obey the law. And this is again related to bullying. When they are young, students are bullies, but if this behavior isn't stopped, it can lead to problems in the future. And it's very good for them to hear this and to see the consequences and to understand the impact of each of their actions. And as a very important thing, we encourage students to do things for themselves. This is really important for their well-being, for their mental health, to find activities that could help them maintain this mental health and their positivity. A hobby can make a great change because students, when they create something like art, for example, they feel valuable. They feel that their skills matter. They get a confirmation of how useful they are for that group and for themselves. When choosing a hobby, we try to ask the students about what their passions are, but also to encourage them to try new things, because this is related to mental health. Always learning, always trying to improve your intelligence and learn something new every day. We keep a very, very close connection with their families, because the families are sometimes the one who let us know that there are problems with the students, but sometimes we tell them when we see that something is wrong. That's why we need to keep in close contact with the students' families and ask for their help in order to motivate them and to help them, to give them a helping hand to overcome whatever problems they have. Sometimes students have issues that we don't see and we don't know about, and that is the reason why we need to tell them to open their heart and to let us know let us into their world, to let us, the teachers, the school counselor, the school psychologist, to help them. As a conclusion, always encourage students, always try to keep in mind their mental health, allow them to speak about their problems, and tell them that they are important. Encourage them to find things that make them always better people, because they will be the ones who, as I always say, will make the world a better place. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, of course, we have to work to make this world a better place. And as you were talking, yes, we have to keep close, contacts, but not only with the students, but their parents as well. And the same point, it was even said by Dr. Sharda Chakravarti, ma'am, that if the teacher, as an educator or a teacher, if we feel that some child is under some kind of problem, or he's not behaving as he used to behave earlier, he's under some kind of stress, so we can contact the parents, because we will always know what that child is going through, because the parents can tell if there is some problem at home, and obviously we can be helped. So we need to help each other, and we have to make this world a better place to live in. And the kind of initiatives that you told, they were amazing. They were so amazing initiatives. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the amazing presentation. I think we have finished all the speakers, but we have one more member who is there right from the beginning. Charuta ma'am, would you like to share something? Charulata ma'am.
Hello. Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I didn't think I would get this one. So I managed with the chat somewhere. So I've actually sent it in the chat, but if you want, I can even talk about it. I guess my video is not displaying, right? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, I'll just switch on my display. Yeah, so they were really amazing presentations today, and everyone was sharing with their own expertise and in their own manner. A few shared with from an academic and psychological perspective, research based. A few shared with their own experiences and whatever work they were doing. So it was really amazing presentations they were. So there were also some additional points I would like to share, and I would just build upon whatever I've written in the chat. So the thing is that in education related initiatives from UN and also the global discussions that are going on, even the different transformative or revolutionary education systems and organizations uh, that are being initiated as different methods in which they are focusing more on student led education or learning rather than curriculum based, because in whatever boards and education systems we are following, it is more about the curriculum. So I myself am working with a school, a CBSE school in India. So there is a curriculum which the teachers have to complete, and despite all their efforts to try and understand their children, they don't have enough time to focus on the children, considering the population of the classroom, the number of students that are there in the classroom, and the pace of the curriculum that needs to be maintained. Both the things are a great struggle for the teachers. So I even saw a teacher who spent a Saturday talking with her kids. So Saturday is usually parents' meeting. So I saw a teacher who spent the Saturday talking with a kid who was not that interactive in the classroom. So she made sure that she talked to him. But such Saturdays are somewhere not enough, and not all children are catered to, or not. The impact is can be really great, but the population is the limitation. That is one thing. Secondly, the method that the focus on completing the curriculum is also a challenge, because of which all these efforts are somewhere secondary, become secondary. So these and there are schools that I have seen who focus on the students first of all decide what they want to learn. So this is not really an imaginary school or something just in the movies, but actually such schools are being developed in which they say that the student has to decide what he or she will learn, and then there are facilitators rather than teachers, someone who knows about the topic, and then that person can guide. So this happens from a young age, a really young age. So this exposure also, and this has been developed based on some isolated experiments of homeschooling. So many successful professionals in different fields, they say that I never went to school, and I'm so successful today that the not attending school is not a hindrance in being successful or being self-dependent, self-reliant, independent. May it be financially, may it be psychologically, may it be socially. Uh, and then another thing is that how can we imbibe and inculcate the 21st century skills in the education system, because this is something that can be taught through experimentation, practice. This can be learned rather than taught. This can be learned, and we can facilitate it. So this is also something that we need to consider imbibe in the education system. Thirdly, the thing is that consent education. So there are many initiatives being taken in somewhere in Europe and America regarding consent education, and there is a lot of work being done. So that also needs to, get its the the kind of respect and spread that it needs to achieve, that it should be everywhere available, and we need to talk more about it. And also trauma prevention, because there are a lot of experiences that children go through, and it is age independent. So it is not based on age that a person can go through mental health issues, and we need to somewhere acknowledge that mental health issues are not just limited to stress and anxiety. And trauma is something that can be induced from external violence or the life situations, or even nothing at all. But it can be traumatizing. Something very simple can be highly traumatizing because of a different kind of understanding, or even a cultural difference can be can be perceived, can lead to a trauma without any intervention. So I guess there are a lot of things that we need to consider in regard with mental health. Certain things definitely the schools can prioritize, but somewhere it seems that educational institutions have limitations, and somewhere it also seems that many educational institutions focus on mental health to the limit of just discipline. So that's not enough. So we have discipline issues and we label it as mental health issues. That's not really the right approach. We need to really be concerned about our students' mental health, and we need to understand that although it seems an indirect intervention, it is somewhere like because of which it is considered secondary, that it doesn't have a direct impact on their academic performance specifically, or the kind of behavior the teacher expects. But still, mental health is important for their growth. And then can we also think about that, is the education system then lacking somewhere to help the children grow than just the students being employed? Yeah. So this is something that I would really love to share. And thank you, Anjum ma'am, for giving me the opportunity for sharing this despite not having the name in the speakers.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. But I could see you were there right from the beginning of the session, and I could also see the wonderful comments that you're giving. So I thought that, yes, we wanted to hear from you actually. So I invited you, and thank you. But and you have shared really a great thing, that though we talk about, yes, we can be as a the teacher, we can be doing this, we can be doing that, but one of the limitations that we face is, of course, the curriculum. Like even in not just in school but in college, sometimes we experience it every time we have to answer like how much syllabus you have covered, what all topics you have taken in this week, and if you miss the classes, why were you on leave, and we have so many things. So we have to just run behind completing the syllabus many times, so that becomes a limitation. Though we think of so many things that okay, we can be doing this for our students, but sometimes it becomes a limitation. The curriculum is there, but still we all have a way out, and we can be working for it. And thank you very much for sharing. And in fact, this was a very fruitful session, a very interesting and interactive session, because all the speakers that have joined, they just expressed their experiences and what all as an educator we can be doing to look after the mental health of the students and also the teachers. Of course, when we talk about educational institutions, it's not just students, but the teachers as well. And yes, first thing, of course, we need to raise the awareness. Every school, every college, university should be having regular sessions so that the people know what is mental health, what are mental health issues. They should be having awareness over it. And stress-free environment for the students, for the teachers as well. And yes, of course, we can be dealing with this problem, because yes, nothing is a problem and every problem has a solution. So we have to come out of our comfort zones. We have to cooperate with each other. We have to support each other, and we will be able to handle this problem of increasing mental health all over the world. So thank you everyone for joining today, and thank you the founder of IDYM Group of Companies, Ravi Shankar sir, for this wonderful opportunity for every one of us to come on this platform and share our views on the topic, improving role of educational institutions in improving the mental health. Thank you.